Welcome to the series of lectures on signals and systems. So in the last class we started this concept Fourier transform of the standard signals. So we completed the two signals in the last class. So number one is, so we completed the Fourier transform of the impulse function, unit impulse function. So that is equal to 1. So we completed the Fourier transform of the unit impulse function in the last class. So in the second one is the real exponential signal. So the one-sided real exponential signal, so that is represented by this way. So e power minus at into u of t. So when you multiply any signal with respect to the unit step function, so you will get the one-sided signal, because u of t is only depend on the positive side of the real axis. So this is the one-sided real exponential signal. Now we find out the Fourier transform of this one-sided real exponential signal. So we'll get the answer is 1 by a plus j omega. So this is the answer for the Fourier transform of the one-sided real exponential signal. Vice versa is also true. So the inverse Fourier transform of 1 by a plus j omega is nothing but the one-sided real exponential signal, so which is e power minus at into u of t, or the inverse Fourier transform of 1 is nothing but your impulse signal, that is your unit impulse signal. So in the last class we completed these two signals, so which are the standard signals. So the third one in this class we are going to discuss is the double-sided real exponential signal. So this is the double-sided real exponential signal. So first I will represent the double-sided real exponential signal. In the examination the question is given like this only. So they are not mentioning the signal. They just give the statement. Find out the Fourier transform of the double-sided real exponential signal. Like that they are asking the question. Or find out the Fourier transform of the one-sided real exponential signal. So they won't mention the signal. So like that, this is the signal, e power minus at into u of t is the signal. They are not mentioning the signal. They just write the statement like this. Find out the Fourier transform of the double-sided real exponential signal. So double-sided real exponential signal means, so first I will represent this signal so that you can easily understand the double-sided exponential signal, real exponential signal. This is a real exponential signal and it is represented like this. So this is for t greater than 0 region, and this is the t less than 0 region. So it starts at 1 and with increase in time, so it decreases in magnitude, and finally the signal converges. So like that so it is defined on the positive real axis side. On the negative real axis side also, so it is decreases with increase in the time, and the signal convergence. Finally it reaches the 0 value. So that is the meaning of the convergence. So this is your double-sided real exponential signal. That means the signal is defined on both sides. That is your double-sided real exponential signal. So let us consider this signal is x of t. So x of t. So how can we represent this signal in terms of the mathematical representation? I already told you this signal. This is one-sided real exponential signal. How can you represent this? So this is your x of t. Let us consider. So this is e power minus at into u of t. So this is your one-sided real exponential signal, and the mathematical representation of this signal is like this. So whenever the t going on increases, so what happens? So 1 by e power t value increases. So e power minus at means what? 1 by e power at. So whenever the t goes on increases, so the denominator goes on increases. So whenever the denominator goes on increases with increase in time, the signal value goes on decreases, and finally it reaches the 0 value. So like that. So this is the pattern of the signal. So into u of t means, so it is one sided, it is on the positive real axis side, because u of t is 1 for time t is greater than 0. For time t is greater than 0, it is 1. Now when comes to the negative real axis side, how can you represent this signal? So this signal is represented by e power at into u of minus t. So u of minus t is nothing but what? So it is 1 for t less than 0. For t greater than 0, it is 0 value. Here I write e power at. The reason is with increase in negative time. So what happens? Here also the denominator of this expression increases. Here if you take the negative time, so that this entire expression e power minus at becomes e power minus at. So whenever the t is less than 0, e power at becomes e power minus at. So whenever the t negative time increases, the denominator of this expression increases, and hence the final the function value decreases in time as t progressively increases. That's why I represent here e power at into u of minus t. So that is your the mathematical representation of your signal on the negative real axis side. So if you combine these two, I can represent your double sided real exponential signal. So like this. So e power a into mod t. So e power minus a into mod t into u of t. So this is your double sided real exponential signal. That is your double sided real exponential signal. Here mod t indicates it is plus or minus. Mod t means it is plus or minus. So if t is greater than 0, I can take the plus t. If t is less than 0, I can take the minus t, so that I can get these two expressions corresponding to this signal. So you should remember this expression. A double sided real exponential signal is mathematically represented by e power minus a into mod t. So into u of t. U of t is the unit step function. So this is the mathematical representation of the double sided real exponential signal. So what is the one sided real exponential signal? So it is nothing but e power minus at into u of t. So this is the one sided real exponential signal. So this is the double sided real exponential signal. That is the mathematical representation of double sided real exponential signal. Now we need to find the Fourier transform of this double sided real exponential signal. So this is your third one. I want to find the Fourier transform of the double sided e power minus a into mod t. So into u of t. For this I want to find the Fourier transform. So this is the converged signal. So no problem, we can use the formula. So what is the formula? The formula is like this: Fourier transform of e power minus a, so mod t into u of t. So directly I can write here. So what is the formula? Integral, so minus infinity to plus infinity. So your signal is, so I directly split the integration limits here, because from minus infinity to 0 your signal is like this. So this is your signal. So directly I can write here. So the limits are actually from minus infinity to plus infinity in the formula, but I will split your limits from minus infinity to 0, because my signal is from minus infinity to 0, my signal is this one. So this is e power at into u of minus t. So that is my signal during the interval minus infinity to 0. So this is your signal into e power minus j omega t. So in the formula e power minus j omega t is there. So into dt. So that is one part from minus infinity to 0. Now what about the second part? So 0 to infinity, 0 to infinity. So your signal is like this. So this is your signal from 0 to infinity. Your signal is e power minus at into u of t. So that is your signal from 0 to infinity range, e power minus j omega t dt. So let us clearly observe, this is a double-sided real exponential signal. That means the signal is defined on both sides of the real axis. So what is the mathematical expression of this signal for time t is greater than 0? So this is the mathematical representation of this signal for time t is greater than 0. Therefore I can use from 0 to infinity, I can use this expression, e power minus at into u of t. So e power minus j omega t is in the formula, it is given. So this is already there in the formula. I just use this formula, Fourier transform of any signal, continuous time signal. X of t is what? So integral minus infinity to plus infinity. Here the time domain signal is x of t e power, so minus j omega t dt. So this is your formula to find the Fourier transform of any continuous time signal. Here the signal is e power minus a into mod t. Here the integral limits minus infinity to plus infinity. I split these integral limits because we have two different functions. From minus infinity to 0 we have this function. For t less than 0 this is the function. For 0 to infinity we have this function, e power minus at into u of t. So like that I can split the integration based on your the signal, based on your signal. Now do the integration process here. From minus infinity to 0, what is u of minus t? So u of minus t is what? It is 1. So u of minus t is the time reversal of u of t. So already you know this u of t. So this is your u of t. So u of t is this one. So it is defined 1 for time t is greater than 0. So u of minus t is what? Time reversal of u of t. So u of minus t is defined only for time t is less than 0. For time t is less than 0, its value is what? 1. So that is your u of minus t. Here u of minus t is there from minus infinity to 0. So u of minus t you can directly taken as 1. So from minus infinity to 0, your u of minus t is 1. So e power at into e power minus j omega t is what? So e power a minus j omega times t. You just multiply the these two exponentials so that they can add in the exponent. So e power at into e power minus j omega t is what? E power a minus j omega times t, so into dt. So into dt plus. So what about the second integral part? So 0 to infinity, that is second. So 0 to infinity, what is u of t? So your u of t is 1 during the interval 0 to infinity. So e power minus at into e power minus j omega t is what? So e power minus of a plus j omega t into dt. So that is the integration, multiplication of your exponentials. So e power minus at into e power minus j omega t. So this is your integral 0 to infinity. Now what is e power integral e power at dt? I already told you. So what is the formula for e power at dt? So e power at dt is what? So e power at by the coefficient of t. Here what is the coefficient of t? A is the coefficient of t. So in the case of this, so here the coefficient of t is a minus j omega. Therefore integral e power a minus j omega times t is nothing but a minus, so j omega times t divided by a minus j omega. So substitute the limits of integration. So here minus infinity to 0, that is the limit. Next, so e power minus at. So what is the formula here? So minus of, so a plus j omega times t divided by t coefficient is what? So minus a plus j omega, that is the t coefficient. Substitute the limits of integration. So what are the limits of integration? It is 0 to infinity. It is 0 to infinity. Now when you substitute the limits of integration, so clearly observe here in the first function, if you substitute the upper limit, so upper limit t is 0, therefore e power 0 is what? 1. So the first term I can write here becomes 1 by a minus j omega. So I can directly written here. So 1 by a minus j omega is getting outside, and you just substitute the upper limit first. So what is the upper limit? So upper limit is here 0. So instead of t, you substitute the 0. So e power 0 becomes what? So 1 minus substitute the lower limit. Here the lower limit, observe here, it is minus infinity. So when you substitute t in the place of t minus infinity, so it becomes what? 1 by e power infinity. So it becomes 1 by e power infinity. So 1 by e power infinity is 1 by infinity. 1 by infinity is what? 0. So the second factor, when you substitute the lower limit, becomes what? So becomes 0. So all of you clearly observe here, in the place of t we need to substitute minus infinity. So whenever you substitute minus infinity, it becomes e power minus infinity. So what is e power minus infinity? So e power minus infinity is 1 by e power infinity. So 1 by e power infinity is nothing but 1 by infinity. So that is equal to 0. So the entire second factor, when substitute the limit minus infinity, becomes 0. And when comes to the second function here, so in the second function, it is 1 minus 1 by a plus j omega. So this is minus 1 by a plus j omega. So getting outside minus 1 by a plus j omega. Now if you substitute t in the place of t, upper limit infinity, so e power minus infinity here. So e power minus infinity is what? 0 minus. So substitute the lower limit for t is 0. So e power 0 is what? So e power 0 is 1. So like that we can get now. So what is the final output here? So 1 by a minus j omega, minus of minus here, plus 1 by, so a plus j omega, and you take the LCM of these two. A minus j omega into a plus j omega is what? So a plus a square plus omega square. Here a plus j omega plus a minus j omega is there. So we have the numerator 2a. So that is the numerator we got in the above expression. So this is the answer for this double-sided real exponential signal, which is your 2a by a square plus omega square. So the answer for the Fourier transform of the double-sided real exponential signal is nothing but 2a divided by, so a square plus omega square. So this is the answer for this problem, the double-sided real exponential signal. One thing is, you should remember this expression, mathematical expression. How can you define the double-sided real exponential with the mathematical expression? So once you know the mathematical expression, so later the procedure is same. You just use the Fourier transform of a continuous time signal. So in the place of x of t, you just use this mathematical expression and manipulate the equations so that you can get the final expression, which is 2a by a square plus omega square. This is the Fourier transform of the double-sided real exponential signal. So double-sided means, so on both sides of the real axis the signal is defined. So, and the signal is starting at 1 at time t equal to 0. The signal is starts at 1. Whenever the t increases on both sides, the signal decays with respect to the time. So that is your double-sided real exponential signal. So In terms of the mathematical equation, it is represented like this: e power minus a into mod t, e power minus a into mod t. So you can take t as plus or minus t. So if you take the plus t here, u of t, so this is the positive side equation, and if you take the negative t, so this is the negative side of the real axis equation. So like that you can do the calculations and find out the Fourier transform of the double sided real exponential signal. So this is the equation 2a by a square plus omega square. So if you find out the inverse Fourier transform of this 2a by a square plus omega square, so you will get what? The time domain signal, which is your e power minus a t mod t into u of t. So this is about the double sided real exponential signal. So if you want, you can plot the let us consider it is x of t. This is the signal, so that here we will get x of j omega. So if you want to plot the magnitude plot and phase plot, so you can easily plot by using this expression, So next we will move on to the next type of standard signal, which is your complex exponential signal. So this is your complex exponential signal. So previously we discussed the real exponential signal. Now we are going to discuss the complex exponential signal. So let us consider the signal is represented by this mathematical expression. A complex exponential signal is represented by e power j omega naught t. So e power j omega naught t. So this is the complex exponential. If I use j, means it is complex. E power j omega naught t is what? Cos omega naught t plus j sin omega naught t. So this is the complex signal. So complex exponential signal. We represent the signal in terms of its exponents. Therefore it is complex exponential signal. So this is your complex exponential signal. I want to find the Fourier transform of this complex exponential signal. So e power j omega naught t. So I want to find out its Fourier transform. Now if you observe this complex exponential signal, so this complex exponential signal is not the converged signal. Previously if you observe, the signal is converged. That means what? So when the time progressively increases, it drastically reduces and finally reaches the zero value. So that is the meaning of convergence. So if you want to use the formula, remember here I already told you. So if you want to calculate the Fourier transform of a time domain signal, here the signal is what? Absolutely integrable. That means the signal is a converged signal. So if we integrate this signal, so integral minus infinity to plus infinity, so mod x of t dt, so you should get less than infinity value. That means the signal is a converged signal. So a converged signal is absolutely integrable. So in that case only we are using this formula. So remember here, very crucial point here. So if you want to use the Fourier transform to calculate the frequency domain signal, here the time domain signal must be absolutely integrable. In other words, the signal is converged signal. Converged signal means, so it decreases in amplitude and finally reaches the zero value. That is the meaning of convergence. Or if you integrate the signal in between minus infinity to plus infinity, you should get a less than infinity value. That is the meaning of absolutely integrable. Then only we can use this formula. Otherwise we cannot use this formula. Otherwise this formula is not valid. Now if we observe this complex exponential signal, this is not the converged signal. Because whenever the t increases, the magnitude of the function increases. At time t equal to infinity, the signal reaches the infinity value. in magnitude. So this is not the absolutely integrable signal. This is not the absolutely integrable signal. Whenever the signal is not absolutely integrable, or whenever the signal is not converged in time, converged in time means whenever the t progressively increases, the signal magnitude decreases drastically. That is the meaning of convergence. So what is the meaning of not converged? So whenever the time progressively increases, the magnitude of the signal further increases, that is the non-converged signal. So if the signal is not converged, it is not absolutely integrable. If it is not absolutely integrable, we cannot find out the Fourier transform of such type of signals using this formula. If we want to use this formula, the signal must be a converged signal. The signal must be a converged signal, or the signal must be absolutely integrable signal. That is the third condition of the Dirichlet. That is the third condition of Dirichlet. Dirichlet third condition is what? If we want to use this formula, the signal must be absolutely convergible, absolutely integrable. Otherwise we cannot use this formula. Otherwise we cannot calculate the Fourier transform. So I already told you there. So even though the signal is not absolutely integrable, we still find out its Fourier transform. So using a separate procedure. So that's why these Dirichlet's conditions are not necessary conditions, but are sufficient conditions. I told you there the concept of Dirichlet's conditions, why these are necessary conditions, not necessary conditions, and why these are sufficient conditions. I told you there. So even though this signal, the complex exponential signal, is not absolutely integrable, so we still find out its Fourier transform using a separate procedure, not by using this formula, So to find out the Fourier transform of this the special type of signals which are not convergible signals, so let us consider, to find out the Fourier transform, let us consider a signal like this. So this is the unit impulse signal delta of omega in the frequency domain. This is the signal. I consider the unit impulse signal to derive the Fourier transform of this x of t. If you use this formula, you cannot find out its Fourier transform. It is not possible to calculate the Fourier transform of this signal by using this formula, because the signal is not absolutely integrable signal here. The signal is not absolutely integrable. So if you integrate this signal in between minus infinity to plus infinity, so you should get to infinity value. So in that case, it is not possible to calculate the Fourier transform using this formula. So indirectly you can calculate the Fourier transform. For that, I just consider the signal delta of omega. So your delta of omega is the unit impulse signal which is in the frequency domain. Now you just perform the shifting operation on this signal. So this is what? The shifted version of the unit impulse signal by omega naught times to the right hand side. If delta of omega is like this. So this is your delta of omega. So it is defined only at omega equal to 0 and its value is 1. Now what about this signal? So this signal is a shifted version of delta of omega towards the right hand side. Now how can we represent this signal? So this signal is represented like this. So this signal is having a value of 1 at what? So at omega equal to omega naught. So in other places of omega, its value is what? So its value is 0. What is delta of omega? So here delta of omega is 1 for omega is equal to 0 and its value is 0. So whenever the omega is not equal to 0, so this is your delta of omega. Now what about your delta of omega minus omega naught? So it is the shifted version of delta of omega by omega naught units towards the right hand side, because I am using here minus sign. Whenever I am using the minus sign, the signal is shifted right hand side by omega naught units. So since the signal is shifted right hand side by omega naught units, so this unit impulse signal is defined at omega equal to omega naught only. So in other places of omega naught, its value is 0. Its value is 0. So that is your shifted impulse signal. Shifted impulse signal. Now, so using this shifted impulse signal, I am going to find the Fourier transform of this x of t. Fourier transform of x of t. So in this way, let us observe clearly. I just consider the impulse signal, so which is the shifted in right hand side, and I am going to find the inverse Fourier transform of this signal. So inverse Fourier transform of omega minus omega naught. I just find out the inverse Fourier transform of this signal, frequency domain signal. Now what is the formula for this inverse Fourier transform? So it is 1 by 2 pi, so integral, so minus infinity to plus infinity. So your signal is what? Delta of omega minus omega naught, so e power j omega t. I just write the inverse Fourier transform formula. I just write the inverse Fourier transform formula. So this is your inverse Fourier transform of delta of omega minus omega naught. So what is the inverse Fourier transform of your frequency domain signal? So x of j omega. So already you know this formula, 1 by 2 pi. So integral minus infinity to plus infinity. Here x of j omega into e power j omega t d omega. So this is the inverse Fourier transform of x of j omega. X of j omega. I just use the formula of inverse Fourier transform. I just consider delta of omega minus omega naught, and I am going to find the inverse Fourier transform of your delta of omega minus omega naught. I just write the formula for the inverse Fourier transform, so which is 1 by 2 pi integral minus infinity to plus infinity. Here the signal is delta of omega minus omega naught into e power j omega t d omega. Now you observe here, so what is the result of this integration? What is the result of integration? I already told you in the last class, whenever you multiply any signal with the impulse signal, so you should get the value of this signal, so at what? So at omega equal to omega naught only. So what is the reason? The reason is simple. So whenever you multiply any function with the impulse function, so you should get the value of this function at omega equal to omega naught, because your impulse function is defined only at omega naught only, So in other places of omega naught, its value is 0. When you multiply any function with 0 value, what is the result? Result is 0. So integral means what? Accumulation of the values of the function at different frequencies. That is the meaning of integration. So if you want to perform the integral minus infinity to plus infinity, so you just consider all the values of omega from minus infinity to plus infinity range. But here from minus infinity to omega naught, here delta of omega minus omega naught is 0, and also from omega naught to infinity, its value is also 0. Therefore when you multiply 0 with e power j omega t, you will get 0 value for other places of omega naught. So at omega naught, what is the value of this function? And the value of this function is 1. So you need to calculate the function value at omega equal to omega naught. That is the result of this integration. Now what is the result? So e power j omega naught t. You need to evaluate this function at omega equal to omega naught, because you are multiplying your function with the unit impulse function. The unit impulse function is defined only at omega equal to omega naught. At other places of omega equal to omega naught, its value is 0. So when you multiply 0 with any function, the result is 0. So no need to consider the other values of omega naught. Other values of omega naught. Only you consider the omega naught. At that only you need to calculate this function. So this is the value of this function at omega equal to omega naught. Now what is the inverse Fourier transform? What is your left hand side? So your left hand side is inverse Fourier transform of delta of omega minus omega naught. So the inverse Fourier transform of delta of omega minus omega naught is what now? So 1 by 2 pi times into e power j omega naught t, because the result of this integration is nothing but e power j omega naught t, e power j omega naught t. And if we apply both sides the Fourier transform, now what is the result I can get? So I can get like this, the Fourier transform of, so e power j omega naught t, so is what? The Fourier transform of e power j omega naught t is what? So 2 pi times delta of omega minus omega naught. I just apply the Fourier transform of this equation on both sides. Fourier transform and inverse Fourier transform gets cancelled here, and 2 pi is going this side, and the Fourier transform of e power j omega naught t is what? So 2 pi times delta of omega minus omega naught. 2 pi times delta of omega minus omega naught. That is your answer. So that is your answer. We are going to find the Fourier transform of the complex exponential signal, which is your e power j omega naught t. Now what is the answer? So answer is 2 pi times delta of omega minus omega naught. So this is your answer. So if we calculate the Fourier transform directly using this formula, you should get infinity value. Definitely you should get infinity value, because your signal e power j omega naught t is not absolutely integrable signal. Therefore we need to calculate the Fourier transform of this signal using a indirect way. So using the indirect way. So the indirect way is you just consider this signal. So you just consider this signal, which is the shifted version of your unit impulse signal, delta of omega minus omega naught. And after considering this signal, you just find out the inverse Fourier transform using the formula. So I just consider the inverse Fourier transform. Here I can use the direct expression, because we are multiplying this function by the unit impulse function. Therefore I can get the value of this function only at omega equal to omega naught, because your signal is only defined at omega equal to omega naught. Other places of omega naught its value is 0. So that I can get the result of this integration as e power j omega naught t. I just apply the Fourier transform on both sides, so that I can get the answer. This is my answer. This is the Fourier transform of e power j omega naught t, which is 2 pi times delta of omega minus omega naught. So you need to remember these results. So this is very, very important, complex exponential signal. So whenever the signals are not absolutely integrable signal, so we can find out the Fourier transform in the indirect way. So by considering the frequency domain signal, we find out the Fourier transform. If you find out the Fourier transform by using this formula, you cannot get the answer. You will get the infinity answer. Therefore we find out the Fourier transform in the indirect way. For that you just remember this signal, which is the delta of omega minus omega naught. To find out the Fourier transform of complex exponential signal, you must remember this signal. From this signal only we can obtain the result of the Fourier transform of the complex exponential signal. So this is about the Fourier transform of the complex exponential signal. So I will stop today's class. See you in the next class, all of you.